Once again, see, cutting my head off.
I find you can't get the camera back far enough for my height. This is just silly. Sorry, folks. I'm just gonna move this back. Who knows where we'll end up? Nobody knows. Probably burn my bacon just to
Hey, this might work. That's a weird way to do it, but
and maybe a little more.
like that. Yeah. Okay. We got this amazing bugs getting in my ear. Amazing bacon from York River Meats, which is in Bancroft. Chuck and Leanne are just super amazing folks, and they have a great store that I like to go to, and I also like to go there just for good conversation, because they are just people that I would want to talk to and just hang out, feel comfortable with. And they know a little bit about RVs and trailers and stuff, and they gave me little pointers for when I'm looking at them and things as well. Come on, bacon. Do your thing. I kind of had a thought earlier today that pondering of how many bugs get cooked in my food, get brewed in my coffee, because I mean they're everywhere, so they must be falling into stuff as well. And I think that's maybe part of what makes camping so fun and makes people so healthy is they're eating a lot of bugs while they're cooking and camping, and sometimes even just when they breathe in like that. A good handful of them go down your throat. You know, it's good quality protein. Yeah, I've got a bunch of this bacon that I got from York River Meats, and because I can't keep it cold enough, I have to cook it all up rather than risk wasting it. I mean, bacon lasts a little bit longer, but still. Let's just plop all these down. Throw some more on. Little production line here. Oh, starting to. Luckily, I don't itch too much from black fly and mosquito bites, but if I get an overload, then the second round, you might say, the last time it happened, I started to swell up a little bit the second time around. Okay, so now a few more slices. Second time around meaning my second dose of bugs before I could fully heal. And when I say dose, I mean a lot of bugs. I mean swarms and staying out in them. In my case, picking wild strawberries a few years ago, I was willing to brave the intensity of the swarms to get the strawberries for a wonderful event that we had. For many people, but especially for our barn builders who had finished building our barn at that time to show our appreciation. Oh, I gotta eat a little bit of this. Oh my God. It's worth going to York River Meats just to get this bacon, even if you live in Toronto. Oh my God. Not cheap, but after you try this, you won't want to eat any other bacon. Oh, wow. So I'm just going back over things I got to do. Tomorrow I got to pick up the tubing for the trenches for the electrical, and what else? So I got to do that really early because then I have to drive over to Raven for her to sign some papers for her medical cannabis license for her cancer treatment. Everything's got to go through all the books, all the correct passages, and cross the I's and dot the T's. That's what I like to do. That's the creative move. Reverse everything. Nomad. Yeah, so I got to fill something out because I'll be growing for her. And then she's got to fill some stuff out, and then that gets mailed off to the government. There. You know, I'm starting to really have large and larger moments of enjoying being where I am and not thinking so much about missing Raven, although I'm always thinking about it. But I have my moments where I can just have bliss, you know, and just feeling that I'm getting this place ready for Raven to come back and be surprised in a pleasant way. You never know with me. Is a really good feeling, and knowing that everything that I'm doing is getting the place ready, or closer to being ready, in a way where Raven, in her stage of healing, at some point will be able to come back and have what she needs to be comfortable as she can during the healing. You know, she'll need a flushing toilet, which the trailer will have. She'll need, well, just you know, a nice bedroom and a comfortable enough bed, and a flushing toilet, sink, that sort of thing. It's a little ways off, but hopefully once the well is drilled, whatever has to be hooked up as a minimum, because we won't have a house yet, and generally, as you know, to keep water flowing in the winter, you've got to have a warm space, and you've got to shut off anything from outside. So there's a whole preparing a trailer for the winter. Probably a lot of you guys would know about it more than me, but that's what we'll have to do with the trailer for the winter. And I'm going to be asking my well digger what would be the minimum we can have done to use our well, because of course we need a pump to put down the bottom of it, 300 and who knows 70 something trillion feet, just exaggerating, but yeah, something that can make it operational before we've actually got a full setup with the house. One more load. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to eat all this, just so you know. I'm just going to put it back in the fridge, cook. I need some of it. Oh my gosh. I got some ground lamb to make like a sort of spaghetti sauce or something for tomorrow. And I got fiddleheads. To cook up with breakfast tomorrow, I think. It'd be a nice, or maybe I might even, if I have a little extra energy and motivation, maybe I'll even cook some up for tonight. Boy, bacon sounds so good cooking and smells so good as well. And I find blends even better with the outdoor nature smells and sounds. I can't complain, and I won't. There. Yeah, I saw a black fly just end his life in my bacon. Kamikaze. Whoa. Oh. I find there's certain areas where the black flies and mosquitoes are the worst. Other areas where they're just average. And then there's certain times of day where each has a big rush. Whereas right now, I won't say there's none, but there's none enough. There's little enough that, you know, I could have my shirt off and I wouldn't. I might swat once in a while, but yeah, it's pretty good. So you learn to love the mornings and evenings in the spring here. So the chickens are all happy. They've got lots of food, and I just replenished all their water. And I opened them up to the barn area in the fence pasture, so they can go in there, which is a first forever, because normally the dogs are in there and the dogs would eat them. So they get to go in there now, but they're restricted from going over near the house so that Sebastian and Mia can live a little more ordinary life without having to worry about stepping on chicken poo all the time. Not everyone doesn't mind about stepping on chicken poo. I just find it better for earthing, you know, bare feet, just nice squishy thing, and then it also teaches you how to be aware of each foot that you step to avoid them if you don't want to step on them. I grew up on a farm when I was young, and I'm still certain that why I'm in pretty good health is because of all the exposure I had to everything from raw milk to eating things from the ground to maple syrup from the done from scratch, maple syrup from the trees, that sort of thing. Stepping in cow patties. I'm sure we ingested some of it somehow. I'm so grateful that when I was a child, I got to grow up at that time. You know, life was complicated as it was. I had an abusive father, which is why my mother left him when I was in grade 5, and we left the farm. So I missed the farm, but I didn't miss him. That's for sure. So, so I largely grew up from grade 5 on without a father. So I didn't really learn a lot of the things that fathers would teach a son. But my interest in art kind of encouraged me to just focus in on that sort of stuff. A few fix-it things here and there. wallpapering, you know, as I grew older and had certain capabilities, but I didn't get taught things by a father, and I would have really liked that, especially me, because I am pretty handy. Boy, if I could have wished, I would have loved to have learned how to make houses as I grew up. I would love to know how to, and to make a house, nothing giant, but maybe a little larger than a tiny home or something, but as an art piece would be really fun. Do carvings on it and paint little areas. That would be a lot of fun. But I didn't. And now I'm kind of maybe living my second childhood or teenage years and learning some, well, not yet, but I'm going to be learning some stuff related to house building, at least anyways. I know I have the ability, I just don't have the handy knowledge that would accumulate over, 40 years, 50 years as I grew up. So it's everything that I do, my learning curve is completely from scratch, or in the case of the carving, from memories of teenage years where I did a bit of carving, but I had to kind of reacquaint myself, and I love that, actually, and it's part of what I'm excited about with my new life, the new beginning. Once we get over some of these bumps, just to get started, the financing for our trailer, our youth trailer, and getting a well in, and once all that's there, and of course then getting ready for winter, that's going to be interesting. But once all that's there, I'm looking forward to the freedom I'm going to have. I won't have to work as much, and then I'm going to put that extra spare time into building this place, cleaning up the forest, building little cabins for people to stay in, maybe build a little out in the forest tattoo hut where we could hike to and do hand-poked tattoos out, like way out in nature. Lots of cool ideas, and I can't wait to jump in and do them. A lot of healing to do, like everyone, like emotional stuff. And I also find, I was talking to a good friend, Michael, today, and we both agree that the world needs a lot of healing. And one of the great things about what's going on right now is emotions are up. I'm not saying healing related to viruses and stuff. I'm talking about healing in the sense of emotional stuff, and everyone's stuff is up. Doesn't always turn out well, but the challenge is there to heal. And when something is up, I found, when something is up right in your face, what a better time to deal with it right then, because then you don't have to make the effort of bringing it up to be able to be noticed. And quite often emotional stuff is hidden away in the shadows, and it's very difficult to come into relationship with it. So when stuff gets drawn up, like a global situation like this, and people's different situations that they're in, aside from other things you got to deal with on the emotional level, it's a great opportunity to heal and to encourage healing. And that's an aspect that we've always dealt with at Urban Primitive and now Nomad, is healing, and especially healing connected to triggers from the physical to the emotional to the spiritual, hence Soulprint. And we want to create this village so that you come for any kind of healing, you just stepping into this environment will be healing in itself. And the way we're going to develop that is
through feeling. I'm here right now in the bare bones, and bare feet, feeling the ground, feeling the forest, and dealing, and without having much. And then as things get developed, I'll have more, and things will be a little more convenient. But I'll always remember where I started, and a lot of the energies that we're going to kind of tweak, they're already here, but we're going to tweak and enhance with landscaping and sculptures and buildings and things, in a way that it will be a healing place just in itself. And then coming to buy a piece of art or get a soul print tattoo, or buy a carving, or talk about having maybe some flourishes carved into your stairwell or banister, or limitless what we're going to offer. It will be a wonderful place to pilgrimage to, for sure.
But anyways, I've got my bacon all done. I have half of it still left. I'll keep that in the fridge for a few more days. But I've got enough here, and I think I might just wash that little packet of fiddleheads. And it's getting dark, so I think it's time to turn this off and say bonne nuit, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And what else would I say? Stay tuned for tomorrow morning when I get up, and it'll be an early morning. And then I'm heading out to Ravens to take that stuff to her. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll have some chatting in the truck or something while I'm driving.